I think every man has experienced this.
The logic of the feminine. She's doing this because this is her survival. And she's doing it with the only person it's safe to do it with, the one she knows loves her enough. Another man might slap that in the face for one of those things she said, and she knows it. So she says it to you. This is the logic of the feminine. Let me say the worst I wouldn't say to a stranger, to the one who loves me most. Some of you have a habit of doing this, and that habit needs to stop, because all it's doing is destroying any passion or any love even that would be left in your relationship. This is
I don't think I'm off base in saying that. Every man has probably experienced something like this. Every man. And this is not to say that women don't also get the same treatment, but when we feel it's like safe with this person, we often become the first victims of whatever frustration, whatever anger they're feeling. I don't know if it's a thing that we feel as if this person is always going to be there. So we let out all these things on them. It's the weirdest thing that we constantly see in relationships. And this is why when we talk about women being the ones with the most emotional intelligence, you don't see this version of it. Often you'll see when women are bisexual, or they're talking about their experience of dating other women, they find themselves like, yeah, I know what it feels like to be on the side of this. We can't keep with the blanket claim that this emotional maturity simply lies within women. We can accept that you may mature faster. There may be differences in our priority systems in terms of our brains, in which develops faster, which develops has more connections. But overall, after a certain age, call it 25 years old, there are just biological differences with us, but that does not give you the claim of being the more emotionally intelligent of the genders. But before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Share the video, hype the video. We have some merch in the store. We're victim of this. We believe this so wholeheartedly. It is inculcated into the entirety of the dating game, the dating system of just society today. We say women are more emotional, women understand, have a better grip on their emotions, yet the evidence in front of our faces. Why do we never stop and question this? When you get emotionally riled up, then you start to excuse all the other terrible things that happen. It always starts at that first nexus point, and it's saying, he did this to me, therefore follow up with everything else is completely justified. When you see videos of women vandalizing a man's car, or the property damage, or fighting back, or committing violence, what do you always see in the comment section? What did he do? When women cheat, it's always, what did he do? There's always that precipitating action that has to be because a man did something. But the claim is that you're more emotionally intelligent, that you're more sound, you're more reasonable, you have a better handle on these emotions. No, you don't. And I think it's fair to say that it's classified under you being human. This is the big scam. This is a big scam that women's PR department did a number on when I was growing up. You made it seem as if by default you were the fairer species, part of our species, that you were the fairer gender, that you didn't do these things. No, it's easy to see it happens. We just don't have a habit of calling it out when it does. Similar with Tony Robbins saying, you basically, it's I don't want to call it word vomit, but you basically attack that person you're with because you expect them to be the Rock of Gibraltar. You expect them to sit there and take it without sort of responding. And when he does respond, there is already a built-in mechanism saying, look what he's doing. I can't trust myself to be like this, so I let all this out. How many men have experienced, especially in marriages, that you end up being someone's punching bag, the emotional punching bag? You get in a fight with your girlfriends, yet you don't take it out on them. Not to the extent that that man has to be the emotional sort of tampon for these things. This is why you see a lot of people in the comment section. You see a lot of men, when you can get their objective opinion outside of trying to make sure other people around them, outside of making sure they don't get potentially canceled. When they've been in relationships, when they've been in marriages, this is one of the reasons why I say they'll never go back to something like that. It's not to say that women aren't saying the same things, but there's very different reasons. This is often a thing, and I don't think women recognize what they're doing because it's about safety. And we've been given the job that I'm responsible for your feelings. I'm responsible for your emotional sort of output. I'm not. And more men are sitting here and realizing you don't have to take this. you don't have to take any of this. If someone there isn't human enough, I don't want to say woman enough, man enough, human enough to understand what they're doing to you is hurtful. You don't see it because we men, this is our fault now, we have a habit of looking towards, hey, you got to be stoked, you have to take this. That's what a man would do. A man would respect himself first. If you think that just because you had a bad day, you had a bad traumatic relationship with someone in the past, or something in your childhood is affecting the way you output now, I don't have to be the person that takes that. That cannot be one of the primary purposes I was born for. To be there to shoulder you when you don't have the emotional capacity or control or the regulation to deal with yourself and your issues. That's not my job. That was never my job. That should never be a job I even apply for. Yet, this has become the role of a husband, the role of a boyfriend, the role of a man. I say we reject that. I say you let that go. If you cannot emotionally regulate yourself, I'm not safe for you to now let that guard down and you just do it. The people that are supposed to be lesser than our relationship, they get the benefit of your regulation. When you go to work, you don't flip out on your boss. Well, most of you don't flip out on your boss. You know that there are consequences to that behavior. When you're out with your friends or your girlfriends, you don't do the same things. But I think the idea stems from when we come home, when we're with these people, we can let our guard down. We can relax some of the boundaries. Men understand they can't do that. You can't fully be everything you are when you're with someone else. You can't just relax that. You still have to be cognizant of how you talk to her, how you respond. You have to be cognizant of your voice, how much bass is in your voice, how you come across, how even to someone that you've loved and you've demonstrated said love, the way you respond can make them question the entirety of your relationship. This is you walking on eggshells for the entirety of your relationship. Just because you're with someone doesn't mean you can just allow full expression of the wrath that you may feel in the world towards that person, because they're supposed to be there and understand that, because they love you and not supposed to conquer everything else. This is a notion I think we have to bury. We have to understand that if you can't get yourself emotionally regulated like we have to be, and maybe we don't have the full expression like you do, but we know there's certain boundaries we can't do. And what do we end up doing? Kind of just retreating and walking away. Or you sit there stoically as she unloads all this onto you, thinking that this is the way it's supposed to be. Even when you do something like that, you're then supposed to recover immediately and still be that loving man for her. If we can't wait on women to fix this sort of thing, then men, you need to set up the boundaries. You need to have that understanding, saying, if you can't adhere to this, I'm not trying to force you to grow. I'm not trying to force you to change. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing, and I'm just going to be walking away. I'm going to be packing your things because I'm not moving into your place. I'll be packing your things and helping you on your way. That just has to be the response. You don't have to put up with this. You definitely should not get married and then be subject to this, where now you've given up that leverage and now you're victimized by this. No, you should always be ready to say, okay, this is why some of the male advice in some of the male spaces is like the movie Heat. You always got to be ready to drop everything if you see the heat coming around the corner. That's how a lot of us have to deal with you in relationships. We have to say, one foot is kind of hovering on that line. If this goes there, if you just unleash yourself like this, I'm gone. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to be disrespected in the place I've created that's supposed to be peaceful. That's going to be our number one thing. We're going to love peace before we love a woman. And if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you're listening to Sound My Voice now, you haven't subscribed, I think you should. I'm just trying to build something dope. See you in the next one.